I always thought I was the least interesting person at my own table, until my wife started texting me from across the city. That's when things got interesting real fast. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My name is Evan Brooks, and I run a boutique software firm in Midtown Manhattan. Nothing flashy, just custom database solutions for small businesses. The kind of work that pays the bills, but doesn't exactly make you the life of the party. Monica, my wife of 8 years, works in sales for a high-end marketing agency. She's the one with the charm, the looks, the ability to sell ice to Eskimos. Me? I'm the guy who makes sure the computers don't crash. For 3 months, Monica had been acting strange. Late nights, secretive phone calls, new dresses that cost more than my monthly Metro card. She claimed it was all about landing new clients, working harder than ever. "The competition is fierce, Evan," she'd say, adjusting her lipstick in the hallway mirror. "I have to do whatever it takes." Whatever it takes. Those words should have been my first clue. The breaking point came on a Tuesday evening in March. I was sitting in my home office, debugging code for a client's inventory system, when my phone buzzed. "Having dinner with a client? Don't call. Important deal. Love you, M." I stared at the message for a long moment. Monica had been having a lot of client dinners lately, always with the same mysterious client she never named, always at expensive restaurants I couldn't pronounce. My suspicious nature, the same one that made me good at finding bugs in code, started tingling. On impulse, I grabbed my jacket and headed out. Monica had mentioned she was going to Marcello's, this upscale Italian place on East 47th. I told myself I was just being paranoid, that I'd grab a drink at the bar and maybe catch a glimpse of her closing whatever big deal she was working on. Marcello's was dimly lit, all dark wood and flickering candles. The hostess seated me at a small table near the back, perfect for observing without being seen. I ordered a whiskey and scanned the room. That's when I saw her. Monica was sitting at a corner table, leaning forward intimately toward a man I'd never seen before. He was everything I wasn't: tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my car payment. His dark hair was slicked back in what I could only describe as an aggressively styled cut, like he'd paid someone $200 to make him look like a 1980s Wall Street villain. But it wasn't just his presence that made me freeze. It was the way Monica was touching his hand across the table, the way she threw her head back when she laughed, the way she kept playing with her wedding ring, the ring I'd saved for 6 months to buy. I pulled out my phone and typed, "Tell him that haircut makes him look ridiculous." I hit send and watched. Monica's phone buzzed. She glanced at it casually. Then her entire body went rigid. Her eyes went wide, darting around the restaurant like a trapped animal. The man, I'd already mentally dubbed him the shark based on his predatory smile, noticed her sudden panic. "Everything okay, babe?" I could read his lips from across the room. Monica was still scanning the restaurant, her face pale. She whispered something to him, and he started looking around too. I calmly took a sip of my whiskey and used my phone to snap a few photos of them together. The timestamp would be useful later. After a few more minutes of Monica's paranoid surveillance, I quietly paid my tab and stepped outside. The cool March air felt good against my flushed face. I walked to the corner, pulled out my phone, and dialed a number I'd hoped I'd never need. "Randall K., attorney at law." "Randy, it's Evan Brooks. I need to see you first thing tomorrow morning." "Evan, it's 8:30 at night. What's wrong?" "I think my wife is cheating on me and I just got proof." There was a pause. Randy had been my lawyer since I started my business 5 years ago. He was methodical, discreet, and had seen enough messy divorces to know when someone was serious. "Can you be in my office at 9 a.m.? "I'll be there at 8:30. "Bring everything you have." I hung up and started walking home. My phone buzzed 3 times with texts from Monica, but I didn't look at them. Not yet. I had work to do. Being boring, I've discovered, is the best disguise for a man plotting revenge. The next morning, I sat in Randy's office with a manila folder full of evidence. Photos from the restaurant, screenshots of Monica's credit card statements showing expensive dinners I hadn't attended, a timeline of her suspicious behavior over the past 3 months. Randy, a thin man with wire-rimmed glasses and the personality of a tax form, reviewed everything methodically. "This is thorough, Evan. Very thorough. What do you want to do?" "I want out. Clean, simple, and I want to keep my business. New York is a no-fault divorce state, but adultery can still affect asset division. With this evidence, we can probably negotiate a favorable settlement." "Good. And Randy? I want this done quietly. No drama, no scenes, just efficient." Randy smiled, the first time I'd ever seen him do it. "Efficient I can do." I spent the next week living a double life. During the day, I was the same boring Evan, debugging code and attending client meetings. But at night, I was methodically protecting everything I'd worked for. I changed passwords, moved money to accounts Monica didn't know about, and documented every suspicious expense. Monica, meanwhile, was getting sloppy. She'd come home smelling like expensive cologne that definitely wasn't mine. She'd disappear for hours, claiming she was at the gym, then return without a single sign of having exercised. Her phone was constantly buzzing with messages she'd hide from me. The most damning evidence came from an unexpected source: Sophie Martinez, Monica's best friend and drinking buddy. Sophie worked in the same building as Monica and had a mouth like a broken faucet. Everything spilled out eventually. I accidentally ran into Sophie at a coffee shop near Monica's office on Thursday morning. "Evan, what are you doing in this neighborhood?" "Client meeting," I lied smoothly. "How's Monica doing? She's been working so hard lately." Sophie's eyes lit up with gossip. "Oh my God, you should see her with this new client. Russian guy, drives a Porsche, looks like he stepped out of a cologne ad. The girls in the office are so jealous. Monica keeps talking about his presentation skills." She made air quotes and giggled. "Sounds like a real professional relationship," I said dryly. "Professional?" Sophie snorted. "Honey, the way she talks about his client meetings, let's just say she's very dedicated to customer service." I bought Sophie another latte and let her talk. By the time I left, I had a name, Alec Petrov, and enough details about their professional relationship to fill a romance novel. That evening, Monica was getting ready for another client dinner. She'd bought a new dress, something black and clingy that she definitely hadn't worn for me lately. "Another late night?" I asked from the bedroom doorway. "You know how it is. This client is very demanding." She was applying lipstick in the mirror, the same shade she'd worn on our first date. "Must be some client. Sophie mentioned he drives a Porsche." Monica's hand froze halfway to her lips. "Sophie talks too much." "She sure does. She also mentioned his presentation skills are quite impressive." Monica turned around, and for a moment I saw something flicker in her eyes. Guilt? Fear? It was gone too quickly to tell. "Evan, you're being weird. It's just business." "I know. Have fun at your business dinner." She kissed my cheek, a quick, obligatory peck, and left. I waited 10 minutes, then followed her. This time, she was at the Palm, another overpriced steakhouse in Midtown. I watched from across the street as she met Alec outside. He was exactly as Sophie had described: tall, broad, wearing a suit that screamed money. His hair was still ridiculous. But what really got to me was how he greeted her. His hands on her waist, a kiss that lasted way too long for a business associate. Monica melted into him like butter on hot toast. I took more photos and went home to wait. Monica returned at midnight, claiming the client dinner had run late. She smelled like wine and that expensive cologne again. "How did it go?" I asked from the couch where I'd been reading. "Great. I think we're really close to closing this deal. What kind of deal exactly? You've never really explained what Mr. Petrov's business is. Another flicker in her eyes. Import-export, very complicated. You wouldn't find it interesting. Try me. Evan, I'm tired. Can we talk about this tomorrow? But tomorrow never came. Because the next morning, Monica was served with divorce papers at her office. I wasn't there to see it, but Sophie called me within an hour, practically vibrating with excitement. Oh my God, Evan, Monica just got served with divorce papers in the middle of a team meeting. Her boss saw everything. She's in the bathroom crying right now. That's terrible, I said, trying to sound surprised. Did you know about this? I mean, you guys seemed fine. Sometimes things aren't what they seem, Sophie. There was a pause. This is about Alec, isn't it? I have no idea what you mean. But Sophie was smarter than I'd given her credit for. Holy shit, Evan, you knew. You've known this whole time. I didn't confirm or deny anything. I just hung up and waited for Monica to come home. Monica came home that evening like a hurricane making landfall. I was in my office, calmly working on a client project, when I heard the front door slam hard enough to rattle the windows. Evan! Her voice could have shattered glass. I saved my work and walked to the living room. Monica was standing in the middle of the room, still in her work clothes, holding the divorce papers in one hand and her phone in the other. Her perfectly applied makeup was streaked with tears, and her hair looked like she'd been running her hands through it. What the hell is this? She waved the papers at me. Legal documents. I thought someone in sales would recognize a contract when they saw one. Don't you dare joke with me right now. You had me served at work, in front of everyone. I sat down in my favorite chair, the one she'd always complained was too old and ugly for the living room. I didn't choose the location. That was the process server's decision. My boss saw everything. The entire team was there. Do you have any idea what you've done to my reputation? About as much damage as you've done to our marriage, I'd guess. Monica's face went through several expressions: anger, guilt, defiance, then back to anger. I don't know what you think you know, but I know about Alec Petrov. I said it quietly, matter-of-factly, like I was discussing the weather. The papers fell from her hand. Evan, I can explain. I'm sure you can. You're very good at selling things, but I'm not buying any more. She sat down on the couch across from me, suddenly deflated. It's not what you think. Really? Because I think you've been having an affair with a Russian import-export businessman who drives a Porsche and has terrible hair. Am I wrong about any of those details? Monica's mouth opened and closed, like a fish out of water. How did you... Sophie, that snake told you. Sophie didn't tell me anything I hadn't already figured out. The credit card statements were pretty illuminating. Dinner for two at Marcello's, the Palm, Le Bernardin. Unless you've developed multiple personality disorder, you weren't eating alone. Those were business dinners. Right, business. Is that what we're calling it now? Monica stood up and started pacing. You don't understand. Alec is a major client. He could bring millions in revenue to the agency. I had to wine and dine him, show him a good time. It's how business works in this city. And the part where you were holding hands and kissing him outside the Palm, was that also standard client relations? She froze mid-pace. You were watching me. I was having a drink across the street. Imagine my surprise when I saw my wife greeting her client like a long-lost lover. Monica sat back down, her defiance crumbling. Evan, please. It's complicated. Actually, it's pretty simple. You're cheating on me with a client, and now you're getting divorced. The only complicated part is dividing the assets. I love you, she said, and for a moment she almost sounded sincere. No, Monica. You love the idea of me. The steady income, the nice apartment, the boring husband who doesn't ask too many questions. But you love the excitement Alec gives you more. She was crying again, but I felt nothing. 3 months ago, seeing Monica cry would have broken my heart. Now it just felt like watching a performance I'd seen too many times. "What do you want?" she asked finally. "I want you to sign the papers. I want you to move out by the end of the month. And I want you to stop pretending this is anyone's fault but your own." Monica wiped her eyes, and I saw a flash of the woman I'd married, the one who could bounce back from any setback with a smile and a new strategy. "Fine, but I'm not going quietly. Everyone's going to know what kind of man you really are. Go ahead. Tell them I'm the kind of man who doesn't tolerate being cheated on. I'm sure that'll really damage my reputation." She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. "I'm staying at Sophie's tonight. Give her my regards." After Monica left, I poured myself a whiskey and sat back down in my ugly chair. My phone was buzzing with text messages, probably Monica's friends and family getting her side of the story. I ignored them all. Instead, I called Randy. "How did she take it?" he asked. "About as well as expected. She's going to fight this." "Let her. We have evidence, and New York law is on our side. Just don't do anything stupid, Evan. Don't contact her, don't follow her, don't give her any ammunition to use against you." "I won't have to. Monica will do all the damage herself." I was right. Over the next few days, Monica launched a campaign to paint me as the villain. She called my friends, my clients, even my mother, telling anyone who would listen that I was a controlling, paranoid husband who had destroyed our marriage over baseless suspicions. The problem with Monica's strategy was that she'd never been good at keeping her mouth shut. While she was busy playing the victim, she was also bragging to her friends about Alec. Sophie, feeling guilty about her role in exposing the affair, started recording their conversations and sending them to me. "You should see his apartment," Monica gushed to Sophie over drinks. "Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. And his body, God, Sophie. Evan hasn't been to a gym in 5 years. But Monica, he's married too, right? What's his situation? Divorced, his ex-wife got half of everything, but he's rebuilding. He says I inspire him to be better." Sophie's recording captured every detail. Monica's plans to move in with Alec, her complaints about my boring lifestyle, her excitement about finally being with a real man. But the most damaging recording came from a girls' night out where Monica had had too much wine. "The best part," Monica slurred, "is that Evan has no idea how long this has been going on. He thinks it started 3 months ago. Try 6 months and try not just dinners, if you know what I mean." Her friends giggled like teenagers, and Monica continued. "Alex says I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him. He's already talking about taking me to Moscow to meet his family." "What about the divorce?" one of her friends asked. "Evan can have his precious software company. Alex's going to make me a partner in his import business. I'll be making more money than my boring husband ever dreamed of." When Sophie sent me that recording, I forwarded it directly to Randy. Within 24 hours, we'd amended our divorce filing to include additional evidence of adultery and Monica's own admission of the timeline. But Monica wasn't done destroying herself. The next week, she made her biggest mistake yet. Monica's downfall began with her own arrogance and a restaurant reservation she forgot to cancel. I was having lunch at a small cafe near my office when my phone buzzed with a calendar notification. "Anniversary dinner, Marcello's, 7 p.m. It was a reservation Monica had made weeks ago, back when she was still pretending to be a loving wife. In all the chaos of the divorce proceedings, she'd apparently forgotten about it. An idea began forming in my mind. A wonderfully petty, perfectly legal idea. I called Marcello's and confirmed the reservation was still active. Then I called 3 of our mutual friends, people who'd been giving me the cold shoulder since Monica started her smear campaign, and invited them to join me for drinks at Marcello's bar at 7 p.m. "I want to clear the air about some things," I told each of them. "Monica's been saying a lot about me lately, and I think you deserve to hear my side." Tom Bradley, my former best friend, was the most reluctant. "I don't know, Evan. Monica says you've been pretty unstable lately." "One drink, Tom. If you still think I'm the bad guy after that, I'll leave you alone." He agreed, as did Jennifer Walsh and Mike Chen, two other couples we'd socialized with regularly. They were curious enough about the drama to show up, even if they were currently Team Monica. At 6:30, I arrived at Marcello's and took a seat at the bar with a clear view of the dining room. Tom, Jennifer, and Mike arrived separately over the next 20 minutes, each looking uncomfortable but intrigued. "So," Jennifer said after ordering her wine, "Monica says you hired a private investigator to follow her." "I didn't need to hire anyone. Monica wasn't exactly being subtle." "She says you're paranoid and controlling," Mike added. "Really? Did she also mention her 6-month relationship with Alec Petrov?" The name didn't mean anything to them, but I could see I had their attention. "Look," I said, "I know Monica's been painting me as the villain here, but I want you to see something." At exactly 7 p.m., Monica walked into Marcello's. She was wearing a red dress I'd never seen before and looked stunning, but she wasn't alone. Alec was with her, his hand possessively on her lower back as the hostess led them to a table, the same table where I'd caught them 3 weeks earlier. "Is that—" Jennifer started. "Her client," I finished. "The one she's been having all those business dinners with." We watched as Monica and Alec were seated. Even from across the room, their body language screamed intimacy. The way she leaned into him, the way he fed her a bite of appetizer, the way they kept touching hands across the table. "Jesus," Tom muttered. "How long has this been going on?" 6 months, according to Monica herself. I pulled out my phone and played Sophie's recording of Monica's drunken confession. By the time the recording finished, my 3 friends were staring at me with a mixture of shock and guilt. "Evan," Jennifer said quietly, "I'm so sorry. Monica told us you were being paranoid, that you were accusing her of things she'd never do." "She's very convincing," I said. "It's what makes her good at sales." Mike was watching Monica and Alec, who were now sharing dessert like newlyweds. "This is unbelievable. She had us all thinking you were the problem." Monica's always been good at controlling the narrative, but sometimes the truth has a way of revealing itself. As if on cue, Alec leaned across the table and kissed Monica. Not a peck on the cheek, but a full, passionate kiss that left no doubt about the nature of their relationship. "I think I'm going to be sick," Tom said. We finished our drinks in relative silence, my friends processing the fact that they'd been manipulated. As we prepared to leave, I had one more surprise. "There's something else you should know," I said. "Monica's been telling people that Alec is going to make her a partner in his import business." "So?" Jennifer asked. "I had my lawyer do some research on Mr. Petrov. His import business is 3 months behind on rent, he's got 2 liens against his assets, and his Porsche is leased with payments he can barely make. Monica's leaving her boring but financially stable husband for a guy who's 1 missed payment away from bankruptcy." The irony wasn't lost on any of them. Over the next few days, word spread through our social circle. Monica had counted on our friends taking her side, but seeing her with Alec had shattered her credibility. The same people who'd been avoiding me started calling to apologize. But Monica wasn't giving up. If anything, being exposed seemed to make her more desperate and reckless. She started showing up at my office, demanding to talk. When I refused to see her, she'd wait in the lobby, making scenes that embarrassed both of us. My assistant, a sweet woman named Carol, finally had to call building security. "Mr. Brooks," Carol said after Monica's 3rd unwelcome visit, "maybe you should consider a restraining order." "Not yet, Carol. Let's see how far she's willing to go." I didn't have to wait long. The next week, Monica made her most desperate play yet. She showed up at my apartment building at midnight, drunk and crying, pounding on my door and screaming about how I'd ruined her life. The neighbors called the police. When the officers arrived, Monica tried to convince them that I was harassing her. Unfortunately for Monica, my building has security cameras in the hallways, and the footage clearly showed her as the aggressor. "Ma'am," one of the officers said patiently, "you need to leave the premises. If you come back tonight, we'll have to arrest you for trespassing." Monica looked at me through the doorway, her makeup streaked, her hair disheveled, her red dress wrinkled. This isn't over, Evan. Yes, Monica, it is. After the police escorted her out, I called Randy. She's spiraling, I told him. Good. Desperate people make mistakes. Just keep documenting everything. The next morning, I discovered just how big a mistake Monica was about to make. Monica's final mistake came in the form of a group text message sent to everyone in our combined contact list at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Evan Brooks is a pathetic excuse for a man who couldn't satisfy his wife and is now trying to destroy my life because he can't handle the truth. Ask him about his performance problems and his drinking. Ask him why he really works from home so much. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Truth hurts. Real men know. I woke up to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages from friends, family, and business associates. Monica had sent her drunken rant to everyone. My clients, my mother, her co-workers, our neighbors, even our mailman somehow. But Monica had made a critical error. In her wine-fueled rage, she'd included Alec in the group text. And Alec, apparently, didn't appreciate being dragged into Monica's public meltdown. His response came an hour later, sent to the same group. Monica, you're drunk. Delete this and get some help. Don't contact me again. The humiliation was complete. Not only had Monica publicly revealed herself as unstable and vindictive, but she'd also been publicly rejected by the man she'd destroyed her marriage for. My phone rang at 7 a.m. It was Tom. Evan, I just saw Monica's texts. What the hell is wrong with her? Desperation makes people do crazy things. And Alec's response. Jesus, she really burned every bridge, didn't she? Looks that way. Over the next few hours, I received calls and texts from dozens of people, all expressing shock at Monica's behavior and support for me. Even people who barely knew us were appalled by her public attack. But the most satisfying call came from Sophie. Evan, I'm so sorry. Monica's lost her mind. How is she doing? Terrible. She's been staying on my couch for a week, crying and drinking and calling Alec every hour. He's blocked her number, changed his locks, and told his doorman not to let her up. She's completely delusional about the whole thing. What do you mean? She still thinks he's going to leave his life behind and run away with her. She doesn't understand that she was just a side piece to him. A married woman having an affair was exciting, but a divorced woman having a public breakdown? That's just baggage. Sophie paused, then continued. There's something else. Monica's been fired. From her job? Yesterday, her boss said the drama was affecting the workplace. Apparently, some clients saw her group text and complained. The agency can't have a senior sales director who sends drunk texts at 3 a.m. The pieces were falling into place exactly as I'd hoped. Monica had destroyed her own life more thoroughly than I ever could have, but she wasn't finished yet. The next evening, I was working late in my office when Carol knocked on my door. Mr. Brooks, there's a woman here to see you. She says she's your wife. Ex-wife. And no, I don't want to see her. She's very insistent, and she seems upset. Through my office window, I could see Monica in the lobby. She was dressed professionally, her hair and makeup perfect, looking every inch the successful saleswoman she used to be. But I could see the desperation in her posture, the way she kept checking her phone, the slight tremor in her hands. Tell her I'm in a meeting. Carol nodded and left. A few minutes later, she was back. She says she'll wait. Then she'll be waiting a long time. For 2 hours, Monica sat in my lobby. I watched her through the security cameras, saw her confidence slowly cracking as the reality of her situation sank in. Finally, she left. But the next morning, she was back, and the morning after that. On the 4th day, I decided to end it. Send her up, I told Carol. Monica walked into my office like she owned the place, all confidence and forced smiles, but I could see the cracks in her facade, the dark circles under her eyes, the slight shake in her voice, the way she gripped her purse like a lifeline. Evan, thank you for seeing me. You're persistent. I'll give you that. She sat down across from my desk, crossing her legs and leaning forward slightly, the same pose she'd used to close deals for 8 years. I want to apologize for everything, the affair, the texts, the way I've been acting. I was confused and scared, and I made terrible decisions. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Monica? That I forgive you? That we can work it out? That I'll take you back? I want you to give us another chance. I ended things with Alec. It's over. It was a mistake, a midlife crisis or whatever. But we can rebuild. We can be stronger than before. I leaned back in my chair and studied her. Even now, even after everything, she was still trying to sell me something. Monica, do you know why I'm successful in business? Because you're smart? Because I never make the same mistake twice, and you, Monica, are a mistake I've already made. Her composure finally cracked. Evan, please. I have nothing left. No job, no money, no place to live. Sophie kicked me out yesterday. My family won't talk to me. You're all I have. You had me for 8 years. You chose to throw that away for 6 months with a man who dumped you the moment things got complicated. I know I screwed up, but people make mistakes. People deserve second chances. Some people do, but not people who send drunk texts to my clients at 3 a.m. Not people who lie for 6 months and then play the victim when they get caught. And definitely not people who only want a second chance because their first choice didn't work out. Monica started crying, real tears this time, not the calculated emotion she'd used during our marriage. What am I supposed to do now? I stood up and walked to my office door, opening it wide. Figure it out. You're a smart, capable woman when you're not busy destroying your own life. Find a new job, rebuild your reputation, learn from your mistakes, but do it somewhere else, with someone else. Monica stood up slowly, her legs unsteady. As she walked past me toward the door, she stopped. I really did love you, you know. No, Monica. You loved the security I provided. There's a difference. After she left, I sat back down at my desk and tried to return to work, but I couldn't concentrate. Something felt unfinished. My phone rang. It was Randy. Evan, we have a problem. Monica's lawyer is claiming emotional distress and demanding a larger settlement. They're saying your campaign of humiliation has damaged her earning potential. I laughed, actually laughed out loud. Randy, Monica humiliated herself. I have documentation of everything. Her own text messages, her own words, her own actions. Let them try to prove I did anything other than defend myself. They might have a point about the restaurant thing. Taking your friends there to witness her with Alec could be seen as orchestrated. I took my friends out for drinks to clear the air about lies Monica had been telling about me. It's not my fault she chose that night to have dinner with her boyfriend at the same restaurant where she'd been having affairs for 6 months. Randy was quiet for a moment. You know what, Evan? You're right. Let them try to prove malicious intent. We'll bury them in evidence of Monica's own bad behavior. But as it turned out, we wouldn't need to. Because Monica was about to make one final spectacular mistake that would end everything once and for all. The final confrontation came on a Friday evening in April, exactly 6 weeks after Monica had been served with divorce papers. I was working late, trying to catch up on projects I'd neglected during the chaos of my dissolving marriage, when Carol knocked on my door. Mr. Brooks, building security called. There are 2 people in the lobby demanding to see you. They seem agitated. I looked at the security monitor and felt a grim satisfaction. Monica and Alec were standing in my building's lobby, both clearly drunk, both clearly desperate. Monica was wearing the same red dress from our anniversary dinner at Marcello's, but now it was wrinkled and stained. Alec looked like he'd slept in his expensive suit. Call building security and tell them to stand by. Then call the police and tell them we might need assistance with trespassers. Should I tell them you're not available? No, send them up. It's time to finish this. A few minutes later, Monica and Alec stumbled into my office. The smell of alcohol hit me immediately. They'd clearly been drinking for hours. Evan! Monica's voice was too loud, too bright. I brought someone to meet you. Alec stepped forward, swaying slightly. Up close, he was even more ridiculous than I'd imagined. His hair was still perfectly styled despite his obvious intoxication, and his suit probably cost more than most people made in a month. But his eyes were red and desperate. So, you're the husband, he said with a slight Russian accent. Monica told me all about you. I'm sure she did. And you're the client. How's that import business working out? His face darkened. You think you're clever, don't you? Destroying Monica's life, spreading lies about me. I didn't have to spread anything. Monica did all the work herself. That group text was particularly effective. Monica stepped between us, her hands shaking. Evan, we need to talk. All of us. Like adults. Adults don't show up drunk at someone's office at 9 p.m. making demands. You ruined everything, Monica's voice cracked. My job, my reputation, my relationship. You systematically destroyed my entire life. I documented your affair and filed for divorce. Everything else was your own doing. Alec moved closer to my desk, trying to look intimidating. You think you won something? You think destroying Monica makes you a man? I stood up slowly, calmly. At 42, I wasn't in the same shape as Alec, but I wasn't intimidated by a drunk pretty boy having a tantrum. I think, I said quietly, that Monica chose to destroy her own marriage for a man who dumped her the moment things got complicated. I think you're both here because you've realized that your little fantasy romance was just that. A fantasy. And I think you're both drunk enough to believe that somehow this is my fault instead of the natural consequence of your own choices. You don't know anything, Monica screamed. Alec loves me. We're going to be together. Alec turned to look at Monica, and I saw something flicker across his face. Disgust? Pity? It was gone too quickly to tell, but Monica saw it too. Tell him, Alec. Tell him how we're going to Moscow together. Tell him about your plans for us. The silence stretched for several long seconds. Finally, Alec spoke. Monica, there are no plans. There never were. You were married. It was supposed to be simple, fun. You were never supposed to leave your husband for me. Monica's face went white. What are you talking about? You said you loved me. You said I was the best thing that ever happened to you. I say a lot of things to a lot of women. You're not special, Monica. You're just another bored housewife looking for excitement. The cruelty in his voice was breathtaking, but what happened next was even worse. Monica turned to me, tears streaming down her face. Evan, please, I made a mistake, a terrible mistake, but we can fix this. We can go back to the way things were. No, Monica, we can't. I'll do anything. I'll quit my job. Oh wait, I already got fired. I'll move wherever you want. I'll sign a prenup, a postnup, whatever you want. Just please don't leave me with nothing. The desperation in her voice was painful to hear, but I felt nothing for her except pity. You didn't leave me with nothing, Monica. You left me with the truth. And the truth is that you're not the woman I married. Maybe you never were. Alec, apparently bored with the drama, headed for the door. This is pathetic. Monica, find your own way home. Alec, wait! Monica ran after him, grabbing his arm. You can't just leave. We have plans. We have a future. He shook her off roughly. We have nothing. We never had anything. You were a distraction, and now you're a liability. Lose my number. He walked out, leaving Monica standing in my office doorway, sobbing and broken. He didn't mean it, she whispered. He's just scared. When he sobers up, he'll remember how good we are together. Monica, go home. I don't have a home. I don't have anything. My job is gone. My friends won't talk to me. My family is ashamed of me. Everything I had is gone because of you. Everything you had is gone because you threw it away. I didn't make you have an affair. I didn't make you send drunk texts to my clients. I didn't make you choose Alec over our marriage. You did all of that yourself. So what now? You get everything and I get nothing? That's your idea of justice? I walked around my desk and stood in front of her. For a moment, I saw the woman I'd fallen in love with 9 years ago. Beautiful, vulnerable, lost. But that woman was gone, if she'd ever really existed. Monica, you get exactly what you chose. You chose excitement over stability. You chose lies over truth. You chose a fantasy over reality, and now you get to live with those choices. I chose wrong, she whispered. I know I chose wrong, but doesn't that count for something? It counts for exactly what it's worth, which is nothing. Monica looked at me for a long moment, and I saw the exact second when she finally understood that it was really over. That there would be no reconciliation, no second chances, no happy ending for her. I hate you, she said quietly. I know, but I don't care anymore. She left without another word. I watched from my office window as she walked out of my building and into the New York night, alone and broken. My phone buzzed with a text from Randy. Settlement finalized. She signed everything. It's over. I poured myself a whiskey from the bottle I kept in my desk drawer and sat back in my chair. Outside, the city hummed with life and possibility. Tomorrow, I would start rebuilding my life. I would date again, maybe find someone who understood the difference between love and convenience. I would grow my business, travel, do all the things Monica had always been too busy to do with me. But tonight, I just sat in my office and enjoyed the silence. The blessed, peaceful silence of a life no longer filled with lies. 6 months later, I heard through Sophie that Monica had moved back in with her mother in New Jersey and was working at a department store in the mall. Alec had been deported after his visa expired, and he couldn't prove his business was legitimate. I felt nothing when I heard the news. No satisfaction, no pity, no regret. They were just two people who had made bad choices and were living with the consequences. As for me, I kept my software company, my apartment, and my dignity. I learned to cook, took up photography, and started dating a wonderful woman named Lisa, who thought honesty was more important than excitement. Monica had been wrong about one thing. I wasn't the least interesting person at my own table anymore. I was just the most honest one. And in the end, that made all the difference.